We should be live. We're going to be seeing if it does come up. Let's double check it. Yes, we should be live. Say what's up here in the chat. How you doing? How you looking? How you feeling, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, say what's up if you're in the chat. So much news, so much drama. Roster cuts have been done. All the stuff with Jonathan Taylor has happened that didn't technically happen. And let's not waste any time. Let's kind of get into it. Once again, say what's up here in the chat. Daniel Macy, 8 days until kickoff. Styles says, I just drafted JT in the July 1st redraft. Roast me. Or in the first, excuse me. In July redraft, roast me. That's just unlucky. Daniel Macy said, I almost drafted him when I saw him in the 4th. I'm happy I didn't pull the trigger. Honestly, let's just get straight into it. Yes, Zach is not here. He had to do a procedure, so he's off for today. He will be back tomorrow, so no stress. I think he might be in the chat later on as we do this mock draft, potentially, so stay tuned. But honestly, let's just get straight into the Jonathan Taylor news, because I think that is the biggest news so far of the season. Everything that we have noticed, that we have done at this very moment, what we know, no deal for the Indianapolis Colts did not find what it felt like was a fair value offer for Jonathan Taylor, and it is not trading all-pro running back today. Doesn't mean he cannot get traded. Doesn't mean he is not going to go somewhere else. What is interesting is that he is on the PUP list, meaning he's going to miss the 4 games, regardless whether he is going to be with the team or with the Colts or with another team. So if he does get traded, correct me if I'm wrong, he is still going to be staying on the PUP if he gets traded hypothetically to the Miami Dolphins. Which is very, very interesting. You know, we just released our running back video last night, technically our time, so this morning for you guys. And, you know, we kind of mentioned where we would put Jonathan Taylor in this rankings here. Obviously, this is Zach's rankings. We kind of spoke about it a little bit. We released it a couple days ago, but you can see here Jonathan Taylor in tier 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 running back. If we just fast forward this, I'm not necessarily sure if I am going to be taking Jonathan Taylor. Even if you have a draft right now, Jonathan Taylor falls to you, I'm still taking everyone in tier 6 over Jonathan Taylor at this very moment. Miles Sanders, Breece, Monty, Alvin, Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins, Javonte Williams. Every single one of those guys feels a lot safer. I mean, I would have Damian Pierce, Cam Akers, Rachaad White. Where do you feel comfortable? Comment in the chat. Where do you feel comfortable taking not Trey Lance, Jonathan Taylor? I've been preaching all off season in a dynasty perspective and in a redraft perspective that, I'm kind of off JT. I'm not necessarily sure if I want to be, getting a running back that just got a freak of an athlete in a quarterback in Anthony Richardson and expect him to be getting that same RB1 production and workload. And I just don't think I want to take that. Is he going to return his ADP where you guys drafted him with 4 games missing? I don't think so. Not anymore. I mean, we've seen in the past, he was drafted in the top 3 rounds. He was probably going as a top 15 running back. Genuinely right now, maybe I'm overreacting. It is hard to envision Jonathan Taylor returning his ADP at this very moment, which sucks for everyone who drafted him in the early rounds. I mean, we could just let's go to our latest real draft with our community here and just see. So let's go to the Alpha League and look at these draft results. And obviously we're not going to obviously you can see their name, but they took a chance and it was a risky chance. Darth took a chance on Jonathan Taylor at the 3-4. He does have Alvin Kamara, who is coming back after 3 weeks. So it's a bit tough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, RB9 off the board there. That's unfortunate, but that's the risk you take. And that was the same thing that I was talking about Jonathan Taylor, right? Like that is such a hard start right now, especially for this team specifically, Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara. I mean, what happens if Dak didn't? What happens if Josh Jacobs wasn't there for week 1 and he was doing the same thing that Jonathan Taylor was, or he was still going to hold out. At least Dak has Bijan Robinson, Rachaad White, and Zach Charbonnet, Tank Bigsby. But in this situation, that one's a little bit tough. Let's go to our Bravo League, which we drafted yesterday. Let's see where Jonathan Taylor went. Remember, Jonathan Taylor went as RB9 yesterday, or in our Alpha League. This is a redraft or a Superflex League. Running back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And look at his other starting running backs for Professor: Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert. These are the things that I was hoping that honestly wasn't going to happen. But sometimes you have to take the risk. Sometimes you have to do risk aversion. In a scenario like this, with drafting Jonathan Taylor, even though it may seem like a phenomenal value, it just didn't play out the way we all hoped and expected to. Look, I don't see him returning nowhere near the RB9 ADP unless he goes crazy, unless he gets working. I mean, he's not saying he's not a pass catching back, but when you think of, that RB1 season, he was getting all his work on the ground. He was taking, he was toking the rock on the ground, getting those touchdowns, not getting a significant amount of work in the air. Whether he gets traded to the Dolphins, whatever other team you can think of, stays with the Colts, I don't see him returning that value. So we're going to do a mock draft today. Obviously, guys, we're going to be seeing where Jonathan Taylor is going to be coming up now that we know he's going to be on the pup. I mean, I really, once again, like I said earlier, if you're just joining us, I'm taking every single person in tier 6. We just released this video. Shout out to you guys. I mean, 6.8K so far in 24 hours, or just over 24 hours. I am taking every single one in tier 6. I'm taking Rachaad White, Dameon Pierce, Cam Akers. I would even say James Cook. It sounds crazy over Jonathan Taylor right now. Once again, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I'm just overreacting. You guys let me know in the comments below. Let's see. So answering the poll wrong. So indeed, he'll miss the 4 games regardless. Daniel Macy said, okay, so no matter, regardless of the team, whether he gets traded to the Dolphins or any other team or stays with the Colts, he is going to miss the first 4 games of the season, which is a huge thing. JT and Kamara, she's going to need Deion Jackson to show up and show out. I'm screwed, Joshua said. Hey, man, it's unfortunate. And look, I mean, we're going to be recording a waiver wire video here, and you guys already requested it. Have put in a claim for this person. But, I mean, I think Evan Hall, I mean, I've been trying to take him. This is our Bravo League right here. Evan Hall. I took him at the 15-4, just taking the chance. If Jonathan Taylor resigned, sure. We saw him in preseason. Yes, Deion Jackson was in for the first series. But then in the second series, we saw Evan Hall get that second series with Anthony Richardson when he went down the field and scored that touchdown. So it could either be a 50-50. It could be a 50-50 type of workload, 60-40, but you just never know. You just never know what's going to happen. So Deion, I mean, I got Evan Hall. Maybe you think it's Deion Jackson. I'm pretty sure Deion Jackson is still available in this league. Let's see. He is still available. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of people saying JT for 10 game is much better than a 17 of Rachaad White. Look, I hear you. I could definitely see that pathway. Once again, I may be overreacting. I'm really interested. I don't know the statistics off the top of my head. I mean, who was put on the pup for the first 4 weeks as a running back, and what was their ADP, and how did they return? I'm trying to think of somebody last year that did that. Put in the comments down below. I'm really interested to know, at least maybe in the last 2 years. I mean, dang, I'm trying to think. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, was he on the pup the first 4 games? He was, but he tore an ACL. The thing is, it's different because Jonathan Taylor doesn't have an ACL injury, doesn't have this crazy injury. Is he even injured? Do you get what I'm saying? Let's see. Yeah, that guy Tirai. I just don't see Zach Moss being that main person. I think it's gonna be Deion Hall. But hey, maybe once again, maybe I'm wrong there. I don't think anyone knows who's going to be the true starting running back and who's going to be the true workload in that backfield week 1 at this very moment. But let's go straight into this mock draft, guys. I'm going to be drafting. Let's draft from the 8. If you guys want to join this mock draft, all you have to do is join our Discord. Link in the description below, and link is going to be in the chat here. Okay, I'll put that in the chat. There you go. All you have to do is join our Discord and go to the Fantasyland tab, or sorry, the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs, which is right here, as you can see on your screen. Then go to content releases, and that's exactly where I'll be posting the link to this mock draft. Okay, so once again, join our Discord, link in the description, link in the chat. Go to the Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs, go to content releases, and that's where I'll drop this link here. And let me just close all these tabs. And let me just copy this link, and then I'll put that in the Discord for you guys. 3, 2, 1, and let's see what happens. Let's see where all these players go. I mean, some really good news for some of these wide receivers. Someone like Terry that didn't get put on the pup. Someone like Jerry Jeudy didn't get put on the pup if you took a chance on him and drafted him. A Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was injured, who just had this hand wrist and surgery, didn't get put on the pup, which is also really good. All these guys have a chance to return before week 4, which is incredible. So I'm really excited about all that for all those guys as well. Let me just see. Let me just double check if there's anyone else that we were contemplating maybe going on the pup that was pretty significant that didn't go. We have one more spot left, guys. One more spot left. Yeah, Wandale didn't get put on the pup, which is good. Which I was surprised about. Yeah, Jerry and all those guys. All right, looks like we are full here. Shout out to everyone here. Let's start this draft. It's 1 quarterback. Our normal draft, 1 quarterback, 13 rounds, a minute on the clock. We'll change it 30 seconds halfway through. 2 wide receivers, 2 flex spots, and about 5 to 6 bench spots. So here we go. 3, 2. There you go. Let's catch up with the chat here. Yeah, Joshua said you can't even count on JT being 100% back after week 4 either, which is scary. Exactly. I think this injury is so in question. Is he injured, or is just this nonsense? Because I think we've never really gotten clarity if he was injured. I don't think he's injured. I think that was the play so that they can kind of work out and get this conversation, because I think it would have been more drama saying, hey, JT, just don't show up. Just don't show up to camp. Like, how rude would that be as the organization to tell your star player, just don't show up? You know what? We understand how you feel. We're going to say that you're injured out of respect. Like, that's just wild to think of. I agree with Joshua. You just don't know. It's a massive, massive risk right now. Mighty Boo said drafted Deion Jackson at the end of the 12th round of my 18 Guillotine League. Feeling good about it. Yeah, that's a good pickup there for sure. I'm excited about that. Zach Moss is the backup, not Deion. He'll be in the main backup last year when Deion was out. Yeah, look, it's interesting. I think we kind of spoke on that before. All right, Justin Jefferson, CMC, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce at the 1-5, Austin Eckler at the 1-6, Cooper Kupp here. All right, I am going to be taking Stephon Diggs at the 108 there. The real story is that he made the roster. Hey, that's a good-ass team name, LT Gray. I love that. Yes, Justin Ross did make the roster. Shout out to him. That's exciting. That's really exciting if you're a Justin Ross believer. Look, have been against him. The pathway was so difficult for him to make that roster. I would say the pathway was so difficult for him just to stay healthy. And if he can stay healthy and be on the active roster in the active games week to week, every single week, that is going to be phenomenal for him, and his value is going to skyrocket. Maybe you're picking him off of waiver wires. Maybe you send a fourth, a random player that you really don't care about for Justin Ross and just kept him on your taxi, on your IR. shout out to those guys. That's what's up. Zach Moss gonna come back and screw up everyone's haul in Jackson's dreams. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's worth picking up Zach Moss, just for the lulls, just to see, you know what, let me just secure as many people in that backfield right now. Mighty Bruce says, how many games does JT have to play for it to count for his season? Oh, I mean, I'm assuming as many games as he possibly can. Are you saying for this season? Like how many? Yeah, I would assume as many games as possible. Maybe I'm understanding that correct or understanding that wrong. Simon Stars, what's up, man? What's your favorite draft position in round 1? I always like to go wide receivers personally. I think if you can get one of these elite guys, in my opinion, the first anyone all the way up to AJ Brown. You see, Devontae Adams is where I kind of lean away. But all these guys that went in the first, even Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, are all deserving to be a first round, in my personal opinion. Just really depends on where you would like to go. My running back 3 falls to me. I still love Derrick Henry this year. He finished RB4 this past year. I think it can continue. I think he can easily finish as an RB5, RB3. And I'm going to be taking him here. I always say if he falls to me, I'll take him. So Stephon Diggs, Derrick Henry for me. So I came in late, so I don't know what was said about JT situation before I came in, but I just know I was in on Dion last year, but Moss took over after a week or 2. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, though, that guy to your right, Dion did get injured. I'm pretty sure Dion started one game, and the second game, I think it was a Thursday night, or it was a primetime game, Thursday night, Sunday night, or Monday night. And it was, if I'm not mistaken, the first game, the first like 5 plays of the game, he got injured. I might be reading that wrong or remembering that wrong, but I remember it was along that line there. That's what I would say. They like to bring in another running back. Yeah, I mean, what about Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette? All those guys are still available out there, so it's going to be interesting. JT feels right on the 4th-5 turn now. Yeah, it's just. I think it also depends on your build. You know, how much of a risk do you want to take? Alvin Kamara missing 3 games, and he's going later than that right now. Let me just double check. I'll tell you exactly in a real draft, in an alpha draft, where Alvin Kamara went, even though he was suspended for 3 games. He went in the 6-9. And that's a pass catching. That is a high powered pass catching running back. Maybe people don't believe in his situation right at the moment, but I definitely do. Let's look at Bravo. I feel like it could be even later, UT. Alvin Kamara in our Bravo draft, he went at the 8-5. Obviously, every draft is different. Well, that's a super flex one. That's super flex, so that's a little bit different. But yes, I agree. JT is 24, Kamara's 28. I mean, in a redraft perspective, I don't think that in reality that is truly a big deal. In Dynasty, I would understand. But if I'm trying to win right now on this ship, do I think Jonathan Taylor can return a higher ADP than Alvin Kamara right now, with a 4-game suspension versus a 3-game suspension versus all the PPR opportunities that Alvin Kamara is going to get on the ground? At the moment, I'm leaning Alvin, but we may see that differently. Henry over Pollard is not a hot take. No, I agree. I think a lot of people like Pollard. I know Zach likes Pollard over Henry. Yeah, Sparrow. No, Zach today, he had to do some procedure or something like that. He'll be out for today. He will be back tomorrow. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We have a real live draft with our community tomorrow, our last one before the season starts. Shout out to the Charlie League that is happening tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely stay tuned. If I'm not mistaken, that league is also a super flex league. Let me just double check that. No, that is a super flex league. 2 wide receivers, 3 flex spots. That one's going to be really exciting for tomorrow, so stay tuned. And we have so much content coming out as well. We just released our final running back tier, our final wide receiver tier, and then we're going to be releasing our top 50 players. So it's the first players, the players that should be going in the first 5 rounds of your drafts. I know you guys have drafts all throughout this week and on this weekend, so we want to give you as much tools as possible. Crime Lord says, I'm going to keep a league. Pick from the 102. Eckler is my keeper. I'm staring at Bijan or Diggs as my pick. What do you think? I feel like it has to be Bijan there, personally, but I would take Bijan. In order to a curious season, a player must have been on or should have been on full play status for at least 6 regular season games in a given season. So JT got to play 6 games in order to be a free agent next year. Okay. I mean, it's just going to be so surprising that if we don't see him play whatsoever. But we'll definitely wait and see what that happens. Okay. Let's catch up with the draft board here. Waddle, Pollard, Jacobs, Olave, Andrews at the 210, Higgins, Jalen Hurts at the 212, Devonta Smith, Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs at the 3-2. I mean, I feel like maybe this is not the earliest we've seen him go. This might be the earliest we've seen him go recently. Travis Etienne, Patrick Mahomes, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen here. And all right, I think I have to go at the running back position. I'm gonna go Joe Money Bags here. Get my wide receiver 1. I'm getting both of my running backs. Let's see if one of these players falls back to me here at the 4-5. What's happening, P? How you doing, baby? How we doing? Let's see what else is any other big cuts. I don't think any big cuts. Nothing offensively. I think there's a couple of what am I trying to say? Defensive. I think big defensive cuts, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it was so hard to keep up with all 32 teams and who got cut. Bailey Zappi was a pretty big one. Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking about Bailey Zappi. I want him to come to the Giants. I want him as a backup. It's going to be interesting who's going to be there. Yeah, let me know any big moves that you guys have seen. Obviously, you guys know we watch it. We're sleeping at that time, so I know Bailey Zappi got cut, which is crazy. Pat only have Matt Jones. Yes, I know that, which is absolutely wild. I'm wondering if they're going to be picking up somebody. They have to pick up somebody else. You're not going to have just Mac Jones. You think of Colt McCoy. I think Colt McCoy is going to be there. I won't be surprised if someone like Colt McCoy goes over there. A little shocking, 0 backup quarterback on the Patriots. Yeah, there's 0 running backs and 0 quarterbacks, and 2 running backs. I know Zeke and Ramondre Stevenson are the only 2 guys. That's who I wanted. DJ Moore. I wanted him to fall back to me at the 4-2. That's just unfortunate. I was really hoping he was going to come back to me right there. But that's okay. Shout out to the 39 people watching. We really appreciate each and every one of you. If you could just do us a huge favor, drop a like. That really helps us. It helps us, says, you know what? You guys are doing a great job. Love this draft. Love this content that you're putting out. If we can drop that like, I'm pretty sure we can get to at least 35 likes. Here goes Lamar Jackson. Yeah, Sparrow, it's going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see who they're going to pick up. I think I kind of mentioned Colt McCoy is going to be somebody I can see going to that team. I know that the Ravens just dropped Joshua Johnson, or just cut Josh Johnson, excuse me. I think that was one of the most recent cuts. So I wonder if he's going to go over there potentially. mean, Jeff Driscoll was released by the Cardinals as well. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are available that I think it can easily get picked up here. Okay. Let's look at these. So Stephon Diggs, Derrick Henry. I think my next player available here is technically Ayuk. So let's go with Brandon Ayuk here at the 4-5. Goes Najee. Drafting. I mean, I wish it would have felt a lot better if I got DJ Moore with all the running backs that were available to me at the 4-5. But that's why we mock, which is good. There goes Tyler Lockett. Now, when I think of Tyler Lockett, not saying that I don't disagree. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20, 21, 22, 23. Wide receiver 23. Every single year he's always outside of his ADP. Like, he always outperforms his ADP. But I feel like this year maybe it's getting a bit too high potentially. I feel like we haven't seen Tyler Lockett go in the 4th round in like for years. And even though we've all been saying he's been disrespected, right? I mean, we've always seen him fall to the 5th, 6th round. I mean, in the years that I played in maybe my home leagues and our follower leagues, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you drafted in our follower leagues for the past couple years now, and Tyler Lockett's going in the 4th, 5th. But not saying the ADP, he still can't outperform this ADP where he's getting drafted. Just saying it felt like you can get him significantly later in drafts in the years previous to where he's going now, based off of, you know, the quote unquote respect the fantasy community is putting in. Not only that, now they have Jackson Smith and Jigba, which is completely gonna, you know, change it up. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not reading that the right way, but just something to put out there. MP said Kayshawn Booty made the 53-man roster. Let's go, baby. Time for the 5-star to shine. I'm excited to see. You never know. I mean, Juju Smith has a history of injury. You know, we've seen, you know, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar also deal with some injuries. I won't be surprised if he's going to start a couple games this year. Being, you know, maybe the wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 on this team. So it's exciting. I like Kayshawn Booty. I think he's talented. He just needs the opportunity. I think Bill, we said this when he got drafted or he got picked up by the Patriots. He needs somebody that can smack him together. And who is the best person to do that? That's Bill Belichick. Get your shit together, Kayshawn. Pull it together. You're a talented individual. Just figure it out. I think that's exactly what Bill Belichick probably did to Kayshawn Booty. Alfred truth is, but he'll Zappy out in New England, but I'm a Mac truther. He was my first authentic jersey. That's what's up, Crime Lord. Prince P. Ryan got cut. A little surprising, but it's a crowd in the Chiefs room. Yeah, look, that's interesting. I think they're gonna rotate those backs, man. I think they're gonna rotate all those backs, in my opinion. And I mean, we saw that last year. You saw Clyde get a little work in the first half of the season, then he gets injured, and then Pacheco comes in, and then Jet McKinnon comes in. It was just, I think it's gonna be a full-on rotation. Appreciate you, Crime Lord. Zach is out today, Skyler. Like I said, he had a little procedure to do. So he'll be back. He'll be back tomorrow. Just today. So don't stress. Don't stress. I know everyone loves Zach. Don't stress out about it. Damn, a lot higher than Christian Watson than the rest of you. I almost took him at the 3-4 turn. That's okay. And that's okay. Goes George Pickens at the 5-6. Here we go. Bobbing like a Dobbins. All right, I'm going to take Deontay Johnson here. I've come to I was getting upset earlier in the offseason. I would say about 3 weeks ago, before preseason started, where a lot of people were taking Pickens ahead of Deontay Johnson. And I was like, look, I have him back to back in my rankings. I don't think it's that big of a, I think if there's targets that I want to acquire, it's going to be from Deontay Johnson. But the way George Pickens has been performing in preseason, which I believe, and Kenny Pickett has been performing in preseason, I'm okay taking George Pickens ahead of Deontay Johnson. I just think that Deontay Johnson is easily going to see 130 plus targets still coming into this year. And George Pickens, I think, will have those boom games. He's going to have these games where he gets, the 70-yard bomb touchdown or gets that 40-yard reception. And it's going to be an immediate 4 points. And there's going to be all this hype around him. I love it. I think there's going to be a little bit more consistency from Deontay. But I'm not upset if you take George Pickens over Deontay now. Detroit backup quarterback got injured. Expect them to pick up somebody, maybe Zappy. Yeah. I'm hoping, because obviously selfishly as a Giants fan, Tyrod Taylor is not the guy for us. He cannot move the ball in preseason whatsoever. And I think if Daniel Jones does go down, I would rather have a better backup quarterback. Tyrod Taylor puts himself on the line too often. I feel like he gets injured so easily, and I wish we had a better backup. I mean, I'd rather have Colt McCoy back, to be honest with you. Just a pocket passer. Give me a pocket passing quarterback that won't get hurt, that can do the easy plays that Mike Kafka has created for Daniel Jones. So I really hope that we pick up Bailey Zappi, get him acclimated, even if it's in the practice squad, whatever the case may be, if we possibly can. Because I just feel significantly better about that. Pickens in the 6th, love to see it. Daniel Macy said, yeah, in the 5th. Yeah, look, I'm excited for Pickens, man. I'm excited for everyone in that offense. I'll be completely honest with you. I cannot wait for each and every one of them. Okay. So Darren Waller at the 5'9", Kenneth Walker at the 5'10", Jerry Jeudy at the 5'11", Herbert Taylor at the 6'1". Okay, so I'm okay with that. You think about, I don't love Breece Hall. Let me rephrase that. Not that I don't love Breece Hall. Can he return that ADP? Do we feel a lot more confident with a Ramondre Stevenson and a Najee Harris than a J.K. Dobbins? Or do we feel more confident in Ramondre Stevenson and, let's just say, a Travis Etienne and then a Breece Hall? I think they're still shaky. Breece Hall is going to be in question. I'm going to take Jahan Dotson here as my wide receiver 4. So I'm excited to get him at the 6'5". But I'm not saying I'm against you taking Jonathan Taylor. If I had to nitpick this specific build, I'm not necessarily sure if I want to be leaning on a running back that's going to be coming back from an injury, an ACL injury, and leaning on Jonathan Taylor to come back in a week, from PUP, and maybe not get the workload we are expecting. Maybe, once again, I'm a little bit different. You guys let me know. Hypothetically, let's just say it was Nick Chubb, Ramondre Stevenson, and Jonathan. He took Jonathan Taylor at the 6'2". Let's just say Team 11 got Nick Chubb, Stevenson, and then Jonathan Taylor. That feels a lot more comfortable in my eyes. But I think with these running backs, not these running backs, Stevenson, I'm still okay with Stevenson, just Breece Hall specifically. I think that is a little bit different. I'm down with the Sue sounds of Badaki. Appreciate you, Mighty Boost. Winston. Yep. A lot of quarterbacks out there. That guy to your right, Zappy didn't look very good last year or this preseason. Had one good game, but still probably worthy of a backup. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that is the case there, and it's going to be interesting. I wonder if we can get let's see, free agent. Surely there's an article right there. NFL roster cuts list. Let's see if there's an article out there. NFL cut tracker, ESPN. They're by teams, which is fine, but I wish I can go by position. If I can go by position, that would be significantly easier to kind of throw out these names that are available. But I mean, going by teams just makes sense. Oh, okay. Roster cuts. And for roster cuts, is this updated? Take me off the roster. Macy said, Badaki, what is the expectation for Dobbins this year? Oh, man, I like Dobbins this year. He's my RB. Let me just double check. He is my RB 17 right now. So I feel really confident in J.K. Dobbins. I feel really confident in this offense. I think he's going to come back right where he left off this past year. Obviously, we saw him really take steps in the second half of the season. I mean, let me just bring up what he did. Obviously, you guys know what he did in the second half of the season. But when he came back and he was still running with that one leg, I mean, he had a phenomenal 4-game stretch in the second half. I'll tell you what it was right now. Weeks 14 to 13, averaging over 11 points per game, 14 attempts on the ground. He was averaging over just under 100 yards, 99 yards. I think that can easily pick up there. And that was only in the span of 4 games. That was him still struggling with that leg, him coming back, this offensive coordinator and Todd Monken's easily. And I think J.K. Dobbins is a good pass catching back. I think a lot of people don't really realize that. You know, obviously his rookie year, he didn't get too much of pass catching opportunities. He only caught 18 receptions, but I think it's going to open up, in my opinion. I think he can be a pass catching guy, and a guy that's going to take a lot of goal line opportunities. Obviously, we know Lamar Jackson is going to be there, but yeah, I love J.K. Dobbins coming into this year. A good solid RB2, in my opinion. Mike, you like Madison too? I don't love Madison. I'm more skeptical on Madison compared to Zach. I'll tell you that much. I am a big. I'd rather draft somebody else. I'd rather have Dameon Pierce over Madison. I'd rather have James Conner over Madison. Maybe that's not a popular opinion, but I just feel really, really comfortable with. Not comfortable. My projections with Alexander Madison coming into this year is that the hype was a bit too much, and I do believe there could be an opportunity where this team brings in somebody else. They cut Dwayne McBride. I don't know if you know that. That was one thing I did take away. Which not saying that he was gonna be. I think it was James Cook there. Had a run of running backs. Let me just finish my thought as I make my pick here. I'm gonna make my pick and then finish my thought process. Okay. Okay, here. Really wanted that player. I'm happy with those wide receivers there. You know, I haven't drafted Dalvin yet. Let's take a chance on Dalvin as my running back 3. I like the old running backs, I guess. I like the wide receivers that could potentially come back to me. I think there's a lot of good options there. Dallas Goedert. But yeah, I'm a little bit more skeptical. And let me look at this Alexander. Let's look at this Vikings depth chart now and see what this looks like now with Dwayne McBride no longer on this team. Alexander Madison, Ty Chandler. I can't even pronounce his name. You guys know who. Keenan Nakwani. I can't say his name. But you know what that means or who that is. Look, Ty Chandler, in my opinion, I think he'll be the backup there, but I don't think they're going to rely on someone like a Ty Chandler. I think they bring in somebody else, Kareem Hunt, a Leonard Fournette. They bring in one of these you know, whoever the case may be, and who just got dropped or cut off a team, depending on who that is, and depending what that opportunity is for that person, I can see them taking opportunity. Nakua, appreciate you. I can see them taking the opportunity away from Alexander Madison. And there goes Gabe Davis there. Okay, I was happy with this. You guys already know who I'm going to take here. I'll take Elijah Moore. I was happy with either Quentin, Zay Flowers, Jackson Smith-Njigba, or Elijah Moore coming there. So I was happy that I took Dalvin Cook there. Obviously, Isaiah Pacheco only went off the board. So I'm liking this team so far. But yeah, and even let's look at the free agent running backs at this moment. Once again, I kind of already alluded to Kareem Hunt. I already alluded to Leonard Fournette. I mean, J.D. McKissick is out there, which is obviously not sexy. That's about it. I mean, Melvin Gordon just got cut. I'm not saying that he's going to take opportunity away from them, but I think the top three guys, which is Lenny, Kareem Hunt, I guess the top two guys, Lenny and Kareem Hunt, because it was Zeke before. If either of those guys go to the Minnesota Vikings, I think they easily take opportunity away. I would say a 30 to 40% workload away from Alexander Madison. So we'll wait and see what happens. But that's that's kind of my thought process there. Right. Okay. Okay, UT, I understand. Macy said in the redraft league last night, I loaded up wide receivers early. Later I got Dobbins, Herbert, and Gibson. Love the start. Love Gibson this year. Also love somebody else. I don't want to. Let's not talk about it. I don't want to influence the draft. There goes Khalil Herbert. There goes Khalil Herbert. Michael said, but I can full PPR at 14 overall. Mahomes and Allen gone. Do I take Chubb or Hurts? Oh man, is this super flex? This is not super flex. No way, this is super flex. So 14. I'm gonna be taking Chubb there. Yeah, you think of a 14. So what's this, 12, 13, 14? Yeah, you get Nick Chubb. I'm taking Nick Chubb. I'm not taking Jalen Hurts. We like to draft quarterbacks late, personally. Both Zach and myself. Getting Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson at that turn there, locking up that backfield is great, especially with DeAndre Swift beating your RB1. And if that was, you know, a Monty, that would have felt significantly more comfortable, or Shaw White would have felt significantly more comfortable. But I understand that thought process there for Team 1, for Jason. I'm taking Nick Chubb, Michael. 683 players released and hit waiver wires. 197 invested veterans cut. 34 players put on season-ending IR. 28 players put on PUP. 20 players being suspended. 10 players traded. My goodness, I love the info. I love all that information, and that's phenomenal. JSC, I think we spoke about this. I think it can be a rotation between Dion and Evan Hall, personally. A lot of people think it's Zach Moss, but I think it's going to be Evan Hall and Dion that's going to be taking that rotation. I could be wrong. I don't think anyone can give you that answer of who is truly going to be in week 1. But it is going to be one of those guys. All right, David Njoku off the board. I was hoping he was going to come back to me right there. That was the last guy, the last tight end I was hoping for. The last tight end I was hoping for there. Man. Look at these wide receivers. Did Sky Moore go off the board? Yeah, he went to 9-3. I mean, my rankings is telling me to go Bateman, but the more and more we get closer to the season, the more and more I think it's OBJ.
Come on!
Let's try it. Like you have a lot of old ass running backs. I've gotten all that old wide receivers next to you. Yeah, makes sense. Yes, Rashad White over Swift. I'm pretty sure Zach and myself, we do have Rashad White over DeAndre Swift. We feel really confident in that workload that is going to be going his way. Shout out to Sean Tucker, by the way. Sean Tucker making the 53-man roster. I am absolutely in love with that. He's currently, if I'm not mistaken, named as the RB2 in that backfield. Hey. Come on, baby. From undrafted to something special. I'm hoping and believing that he's going to come back and show us. You know, he was a top 3 running back, top 5 running back in my rookie rankings out of this class that was coming out there. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to look like for him. So I can't tell how much I really dislike my team wants to play with what happens when you go QB and someone early. Where are you, Mighty Booch? Here we go. Yeah. Look, I don't mind the team. I think it's okay. Saquon, AJ Brown, DK. I don't like the DK Metcalf pick personally. I would have taken DJ Moore, Drake London. I'm really low on DK this year. Obviously because of Jackson Smith and Jigba and the way that he's kind of trending. He might be on pace to play week 1. We'll see. Lamar Jackson, I don't mind that. I like the Kenneth Walker pick. Alexander Madison. I wish maybe he would have taken another wide receiver here at the 6'3". You know, if that was Jahan Dotson, Jordan Addison, and then maybe taking, you know, a Pacheco later on or another one of these late running backs, type of running backs, I would have felt really comfortable. But either way, I think it's not too bad. What do you think about Dulcich with the Troutman news? What's the Troutman news? What's the most recent news that you've heard? Because I've heard that Troutman, I know that, let's see. I'm on the clock here. All right, this is kind of what I wanted to happen. I was okay with whoever Ryan was going to take, whether it was Tua or Deshaun Watson. I wanted to get another wide receiver there. Didn't matter who it was. I'll take Deshaun Watson here. Let me just double check. What was the latest news? Start Denver first preseason. Are you just talking about the how Troutman, you know, was getting in the rotation ahead of Greg Dulcich? MP. Look, Zach and I definitely spoke about Adam Troutman and what how that could affect Greg Dulcich, and we honestly have to wait and see. If they play a lot of 2 tight end sets coming into this year, you know, that's taking a lot of opportunities away from Greg Dulcich, who we thought was going to have a massive step up. We have to remember Adam Troutman, if I'm not mistaken, was somebody that Sean Payton liked. Sean Payton drafted Adam Troutman. Let me just double check that. If I'm not mistaken, to the Saints. I think it was his last year as the Saints head coach. Adam Troutman draft. What year was he drafted? In 2020. 2020. When was Sean Payton last year? Yeah, 2020, right? He retired in 2022. Yeah, so yeah, Adam Troutman was definitely somebody that Sean Payton likes, drafted, invested in. And it is now that he traded for him, it's because he believes in him. And I think he is going to get him in the mix. In a dynasty perspective, I am shaky about it. You can still get Greg Dulcich for a decent price right now. If you're willing to take that chance, I'm happy to. You can also pick up Adam Troutman off of waiver wires in your dynasty leagues if you wanted to as well. But if you're thinking about a redraft perspective, it just depends on who you're drafting. Just depends on, is he a tight end 1? I'm a little bit shaky there. I don't know if I want to lean on that unless you can secure both of them. But if they are playing 2 tight end sets or they're both in a rotation, Jaylen Warren is going higher and higher every single day, which I like. Um, see, like I would be going Jake Ferguson. I did have Greg Dulcich higher, and Zach did have Jake Ferguson higher, and I agree with him. I agree with Zach, to be honest. Like with all the news that's coming out, you have to put Jake Ferguson higher because there's not too much opportunity or competition in that tight end room for Jake Ferguson. So I'm okay. I'm okay taking that. Why is there? Yeah, I agree. Joshua, Sean will be blocking tight end while Dolce is the main receiving option. James said, makes sense. Tuck is such a value. Talent was never a question. It was just medical stuff. I completely agree. I love Sean Tucker. I really hope we see him. I hope we just see him get into the mix. I mean, you have to expect him getting some sort of. If he is a true RB2, I think he gets like a 30% workload. You know, like I truly believe, like I don't think Bateman can handle the not Bateman, excuse me, Rachaad White can't handle a significant amount of workload. To give him rest, he's going to be in some sort of rotation. Maybe he'll be the third down guy. Rachaad White maybe can't be always the third down guy. Maybe 30% is a bit excessive, but I'm excited to see what he can do for sure. Here goes these quarterbacks going off the board. Let's just see who comes back to me here. Not sure how I feel about my team. Maybe I shouldn't have taken Mahomes, Sparrow said. I'm assuming your team 3 or team 4. Yeah, it's the wide receivers that are tough for me, man. Sorry. The depth at wide receiver. The Michael Pittman I don't necessarily love this year. J-Mo, hard to really rely on him. The depth at wide, the top 2 guys, Tyreek Hill and Olave is great. Maybe if you take Calvin Ridley there and then get a quarterback later. So many good quarterbacks still available. That's okay. This is why we mock. I'm going to take the tight end 8 this past year, Cole Kmet, as my tight end 1. Oh, man. If Javen Njoku would have fell to me right there, if J-Mo didn't take him at the 9-7, this team would have been amazing in my eyes. I would have had 3 Browns, but still would have been amazing. Yep, Charlie draft tomorrow, Macy. I'm excited, man. I can't wait. Can't wait for that draft. It's the last redraft. I wish I was in more, to be honest with you. I wish I was in a significant amount of redraft leagues. But I think this year I'm going to do a lot of I didn't do too many last year, but I'm going to do a lot of pick'ems. I probably did it like 3 weeks, 4 weeks max, but I really want to. This is just more me, my selfishness, and me trying to make some money. But I really want to do a pick'ems every single week. I want to make some bets and stuff like that on Underdog. We do have an Underdog promo code, LAND. Matchup deposit up to $100, so don't forget about that. Yeah, I cannot wait. I can't believe we're only 8 days into the season. Tomorrow, technically my time, which is now what today over there for you is Tuesday. 2 days from now, it will be what, a week, right? Just a week away. So maybe tomorrow. Mitchell, Kincaid, Hyatt, Ross. I mean, Deuce, man. I'm believing in him as well. There goes Dalton, Kincaid off the board. You know what? I'm just going to continue taking the tight end position here. Normally, I don't do this. Another guy who finished as a top top tight end, and Tyler Higbee, he was a top 6 tight end this past year. So I get top 6 and top 8 tight end. Tyler Higbee doesn't sound sexy, but he finished as a top quality tight end. I know Dalton Schultz was there as well. I think I lean on Matthew Stafford a little bit more. He finished tight end 6 this past year, averaging 9.5 fantasy points. Once again, not sexy. When did he really get his true like uptick though? You know, I think of Tyler Higbee. I haven't really looked too much into Higbee. I'll tell you exactly where he got his points. I mean, first half of the season, weeks 2 to 5, only he was averaging 9, just under 10 points. He was averaging 7 receptions a game in that span. That is crazy. I mean, that Cooper Kupp was still playing then. Second half of the season was just so up and down though. He had a 25-point game, which really helped him in week 16. 9 out of 11 catches there. Did he score a touchdown that game? And 2 touchdowns, makes sense. I will MP. $100, $200. The problem is, there's no problem. I mean, I'm happy to spend that money. I'll definitely have a think about it. I'm thinking about how I can join some more redraft leagues before the season starts, but I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to put that much money into it. $100. I mean, I love to. Excuse me, but I'll let you know. Last round here. Danny Dimes at the 12-11. Talk it up. You got Justin Fields as well. You got Justin Fields as well. What an opportunity for you. Big old Roscoe. See a couple wide receivers, couple running backs I like. All right, Chandler. There you go. Let's see. I mean, they haven't updated it 10 days ago. Have they updated this? Yeah, they did. They updated the depth chart, it looks like. Well, let's just triple check that. Like, who was cut? Who was a significant? Let's go to Patriots. I know Ty Chandler got cut. K2, yep. Okay, so they are updating the rosters here. Bailey Zappi is no longer there. Okay, interesting. Interesting to see how this is all going to play out. Marlon Mack. We see you every day, man. There's a lot of good running backs available still, I think. Mo. I don't know why that song stuck in my head. Do you guys know that song? You guys, I'm pretty sure know that song. Nico Collins, a good pick. Definitely somebody I was considering there. Good old Rondale Moore, 13-6 is the latest we've seen him. There goes Geno Smith there. Well, I'm going to take the guy that we've been talking about. I'll take Evan here. What is... Let's just read about Zach Moss out of curiosity. What have we seen a month ago? Is he healthy? That's the real question. I think it's going to be 50-50, boys and girls. I really do. I think it's going to be 50. Maybe I get the wrong guy. Maybe I don't. Oh, yeah, he broke his arm. Yes, you're right. I remember that. When's that happening? Is he back then? Is he going to be ready for week 1? Had surgery. This is a month ago. I mean, what's that? 6 weeks is normally his recovery. 4 to 6 weeks for a broken bone. Arm specifically, I guess. I guess it depends on the severity of the Moss will need around 6 weeks before he can return to action, which is right around week 1 for the regular season. I don't know, man. I don't know. That could be sneaky. That could be sneaky. There could be an opportunity where Zach Moss is not ready, and there's going to be Dion or Evan, and they win that job out. And then Zach Moss is about. I mean, this is extreme, right? So don't take it like, don't mark my words, but like, Zach Moss could be the odd man out maybe for the first couple weeks if he is not ready. So I'm not starting either of them, UT. I mean, you're not starting Zach Moss if you draft him, right? But the thing is, you're drafting these players, in my opinion, for like your bye weeks, the second half of the season. You know, let's say in this scenario, and Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook had the same bye week, and that's like week 7. Let's say Evan Hull's getting 50% workload, or maybe there's somebody better on the waiver wires, of course. You know, you're starting Hull, you're starting Zach Moss, you're starting Deion Jackson. You may not want to. You might have to do a trade to get a better player, but that is potentially the go. But this is way too early in the season. Is Zach Moss going to be ready? How is he trending? We haven't heard too much about him recently. You know, it's just, this is a new playbook as well. How well does he know the playbook? Obviously, he was traded to this team last year. Was he traded to this team last year? Or he got picked up by this team early this season. Was it Zach Moss that walked? It was Zach Moss and Nyheim Hines. It was Nyheim Hines I'm thinking of, maybe. It was probably Nyheim Hines. I know Nyheim Hines went to a different team. They picked up Nyheim Hines. Yeah, exactly. See, Zach Moss was traded for Hines. Okay, so I was right, or I was along those lines. It's gonna be interesting. That backfield, in my opinion, is wide open right now. Projected RB1, Anthony Richardson. that's the biggest takeaway. Now the second part of that is, if Jonathan Taylor is still not traded by that time, let's just say by Zach Moss gets healthy, Evan Hull is having a good season, and Jonathan Taylor is back. Hypothetically, he's healthy. He doesn't get traded. Week 5 comes around. He's a starting running back. Everyone is irrelevant from the rip. But we won't know that until that comes around. But drop any last minute questions here, guys. I'm happy to answer any last minute ones. We will be live tomorrow. Zach will be back tomorrow as well. Have a bunch of great content coming out throughout this week. We have a lot of good content. We're already prepping for week 1 waiver wires. We're already prepping for, defenses, streamers. I might release that as an article, defense and kicker streamers, because they know those videos normally don't do too well. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But if you guys have defenses and kickers in your league, you guys might want to have a little bit of insight on that. I might release that, I would say, this weekend, for you guys, actually, because I think that would be some good content. If you guys over there on the Flock Fantasy, maybe that's a good time to plug it. Go to flockfantasy.com/land, the best place to support what Zach and I are doing here. If you guys want to see our articles, our rankings, our bonus content, and so much more, you can go over there. We're going to be doing, there's databases, not only from us, but from all the content creators, databases, rankings, weekly rankings, in-season rankings, so much more going to be on that site throughout the season. So sign up there, use our promo code LAND. Once again, this is the best way to support what we're doing here at Fantasyland and at Dynastyland. And we appreciate each and every one of you. We will be live tomorrow with our last real draft with our community, the Charlie League. So shout out to the Charlie League. And they got a home league as well, drafting this Saturday. So that's also exciting. But yeah, guys, drop any last minute questions. Happy to talk. Happy to have any questions, comments, concerns. You know, any sleeper picks got a draft this weekend. Oh man, so many sleeper picks. I mean, you think of what is he view benefits? I've never seen that before. Sorry, I'm just looking at this. There's so many good like late round draft picks. You think of, I mean, we talk about the running backs, Deion Jackson, Hall. I think, you know, Elijah Mitchell is a great late round one. Nico Collins, Rondell Moore, maybe not Rondell Moore. I felt a lot more comfortable Rondell with Colt McCoy, in my opinion. Jaden Reed, Roscoe, Jalen Warren is such a good pickup there. Van Jefferson, I know Zachary likes. Adam Thielen, I think is easily going to be the wide receiver one there. I say the first half of the season. There's so many, man, so many sleeper picks that you can think of in the late rounds. But I would say my biggest sleeper pick that I have been raving about all year long, who's still going in the 8th round, who I personally would take him as high as the 6th round, early 6th round, and that is Elijah Moore. I think he is a phenomenal value. I think he's going to have a breakout season this year. And you can get him. I got him here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My wide receiver 5 in this draft. I mean, I'll even show you the screen here. My wide receiver 5 in this draft, which is absolutely crazy. And I cannot wait to see what he can do coming into this year. So that's definitely one of my biggest sleeper picks coming into the 23 season. All right, guys. Looks like that's it. Once again, appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you drop a like before you go. And I will see you guys. We will see you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Charlie League. So all love.